And a very good afternoon and welcome to Seaford Oval in beautiful Queanbeyan on this Saturday afternoon, the 1st of July, for this round 12 Canberra Raiders Cup first grade clash between the Queanbeyan Blues and the Gungahlin Bulls this afternoon. We're looking forward to a terrific afternoon of rugby league today here at Seaford Oval. It's a picture-perfect day. The sun is out. There's very little wind around here, and it's just a beautiful winter's day here in Queanbeyan. The Blues this afternoon, first on the table, 10 wins this season. They haven't lost a game, so they've been in absolutely sensational form under the leadership of Terry Campese there in the halves. And the Gungahlin Bulls, they're in 8th position, second last on the first grade ladder, with 3 wins and 7 losses so far this season. So they'll be looking for some improvement this afternoon, no doubt, the Gungahlin Bulls, and they're coming off a 38-22 loss to Tuggeranong last weekend, so they'll be looking to make amends for that. And of course, the Queanbeyan Blues coming off the local derby up there at Freebody Park last weekend, defeating the Roos 24 points to 20, and it was a pretty fiery clash, that one, over the other side of town. A couple of other games happening in the competition across the region this afternoon. Belconnen United taking on the crosstown rivals, the Roos, at O'Connor. That game kicking off about the same time as this one. The Yass Magpies taking on the Woden Valley Rams at Walker Park. West Belconnen have the bye this weekend, and tomorrow the Tuggeranong Bushrangers take on the Goulburn Workers Bulldogs at Greenway. That's the sole game tomorrow afternoon. So plenty of action coming up in the first grade competition of the Canberra Raiders Cup first grade as we wait for the first grade teams to come out onto Seaford this afternoon. It's about 11 degrees here in Queanbeyan, as I mentioned, pretty still conditions, and beautiful day. Very little cloud in the sky, so it's going to be quite sunny out there for the players. The surface is in pretty good nick here at Seaford Oval. The reserve grade clash finishing a few minutes ago. It was a convincing win to the home side, to the Blues, 38-6 over Gungahlin. So a pretty convincing win there for those guys, and they've been warming down over the past few minutes. Quite a few people in the ground precinct this afternoon, getting ready for this one, for this round 12 clash. As I mentioned, the Queanbeyan Blues side doing exceptionally well this season, haven't lost a game, first on the table, taking on that Bulls team with 3 wins and 7 losses. As I said, they'll be looking to make amends for that. Brendan Tawiki, he put in a stellar performance last week for the Blues with 2 tries against the crosstown rivals, the Roos. Stevens, Thomas Rudiger, and also Stewart as well scored last week. Tyler Stevens, he's 5th in the Canberra Raiders Cup competition for tries scored this season. 9 tries this season, the Queanbeyan Blues centre. So expect him to have a big game this afternoon. Just going through the 2 teams as we wait for the sides to come out onto the field. Queanbeyan Blues first in the fullback position, Jake Wheeler. On the wings, Brendan Tawiki and Francis Finefo. In the centres, Tyler Stevens and Thomas Rudiger. In the halves, Adam Misios, partnered by Terry Campese in the 5/8 position. The front row made up of Kyle O'Donnell, Ben Nicol and Aaron McInnes. In the second row, Michael Cullen, Joshua Baker. In the lock forward position, Jake Steen. And on the bench for the Queanbeyan Blues, Brendan Spears, Scott Rutland, Nasiri and Ilyasa Nagata. For the Gungahlin Bulls, in the fullback position, Drury Lowe. On the wings, Scott McGinn and Rorco Sullivan. In the centres, Samuel Bramich and Bradley Scholes. In the halves this afternoon for Gungahlin, Derek Hay, partnered by David Williams in the 5/8 position. The front row made up of Kai Madden, Jake Scholes and Shannon McCaskin. And the back row, 11, 12 and 13, made up of Jared Small, Sheen Lomax, Jesse Smith-Shields And the interchange players this afternoon for Gungahlin: Martin Bradley, Kane Allen, Luke Skidmore, Nicholas Sauer and Lincoln Withers, the captain coach in the 18 jersey this afternoon, as the Blues come out onto Seaford Oval. Terrific home ground for them here in the eastern part of Queanbeyan. Terrific to be here this afternoon. Filling in for our regular caller, Chris Coleman, who's had to jet set away this weekend. I hope you're listening, Chris. You might be watching it on the live stream somewhere, and good afternoon to you. And they're lining up here, the Queanbeyan Blues side, waiting for their opponents this afternoon and lining up with the juniors. As I mentioned, a few people in here this afternoon for this one. They certainly love their rugby league here in Queanbeyan and indeed across the Canberra region. Pretty cold night last here in the Canberra area, down to -7, -8. I was lucky I kept the heater on in the house last night, or it would have been some issues this morning. But looking forward to this one. Certainly seems to be the match of the round. It's a big opportunity for Gungahlin this afternoon to make a bit of an impact. No one's been able to get over the top of the Queanbeyan Blues so far this season, and terrific opportunity for Gungahlin to be able to try and chance their hand here today. And just waiting for that Gungahlin team to come out onto Seaford Oval. Obviously going through their last-minute preparations. The coaching staff, Lincoln Withers, the captain coach, and also David Howell, no doubt laying down the law as they come out, led out by Rorco Sullivan this afternoon. And shaking hands with Terry Campese there, Rourke. It's great to have Terry playing in the local competition here in the Canberra region, a former Raider. Also, of course, Lincoln Withers for the Gungahlin Bulls. Referees coming out onto the ground now, and both teams lined up, ready for some formalities before the game gets underway. About 7 minutes past 2 here in Queanbeyan, and certainly looking forward to this clash. Just been informed that there has been a change for the Bulls this afternoon. In the number 19 jumper will be Luke Hall. Always some last-minute changes for these games. Both teams just going through some formalities for respect for reconciliation, which is terrific to see, as both sides get ready and are taking the field ready for this clash this afternoon here at Seaford Oval. Looks like in the first half the home side will be running to the eastern end of Seaford Oval, certainly without the sun in their eyes, so Gungahlin will be running to the western end, or the northwestern end of Seaford Oval, and might have to contend there with that bright light coming from the sun. But not much wind to speak of this afternoon, as I mentioned. Just a beautiful winter's day, about 11 degrees here in Queanbeyan, and the sun's out and everybody's here enjoying it. So terrific to be here as Terry Campese lines up and gets ready to kick off in this round 12 clash. It's the Queanbeyan Blues taking on the Gungahlin Bulls this afternoon. Both sides certainly fired up, ready for this one, as Terry gets ready for the kick-off, waiting for the referee's signal. The referee's waiting for his signal. Almost ready to go. He blows time on, and Terry Campese gets this one underway here this afternoon. Kick goes down under the posts, and it's taken by the Gungahlin Bulls, and they're doing well to bring it out about 12 metres out from their own goal line. And it was the two big men there for the Queanbeyan Blues in Shannon McCaskill and, my apologies, Aaron McInnes and Jake Steen in that tackle there. And they're working it out of their own half here, the Gungahlin Bulls. A good first couple of tackles. Going to the right-hand side of the field now. Lincoln Withers in dummy half position. The captain coach, or the joint coach for the Gungahlin side. They made pretty good metres here. Coming up to the halfway line here. Last tackle here for the Gungahlin side. Lincoln Withers, he tried to get the ball away and kicked it to the right out of dummy half. Anyway, the ball goes down and it's taken by the Queanbeyan Blues side about 25, 30 metres out from their own line, where they'll start their set this afternoon. Their first touch of the football. And they're up quickly in defence, the Gungahlin Bulls, making no nonsense of it. And taking a bit of time for the Queanbeyan Blues to get up in the tackle. In the dummy half position this afternoon, Ben Nicol for the Queanbeyan Blues directing play. And looks to be the number 11 there, Michael Cullen, driving it forward down that left edge for the Queanbeyan side this afternoon. Looking for their first real opportunity. Goes to Campese. Back away to Kyle O'Donnell, who's made a bit of a break. He's down over the 20-metre line and putting the Bulls under serious pressure here. They decide to go to the right-hand side. Campese directs play. He gets it to Joshua Baker, who appears to be over the line out there on that right-hand side for the Queanbeyan Blues, and it's first blood to them, to the home side this afternoon. Josh Baker. Good stuff for the second rower. We see the replay here. Terry Campese certainly wanting to go to that right-hand side, and Baker, he dummied to his outside once he got the ball, but there was no stopping the man. Good cut-out pass from Campese. And the centre in Bradley Scholes, he had a lot of work to do to try and bring down the big second rower. Bradley Scholes for Gungahlin, and it's first blood to the Queanbeyan side this afternoon. And Terry Campese, he'll be lining this one up. So about 21 metres out and about 4 or 5 metres in from the southern touchline here at Seaford Oval this afternoon. Got a terrific view of this one. Virtually no breeze. So it's a good first test for Campese this afternoon, this kick, but he shouldn't have too much trouble with it, even though it is on a huge angle. Comes around nicely and he's got it. Couldn't have done a better job, so it's 6-0 to the Queanbeyan side after about 3.5 minutes here at Seaford this afternoon here in Queanbeyan. But it was certainly that break from Kyle O'Donnell that got all that going. The big front rower for the Queanbeyan side managed to break that Gungahlin Bulls line. Campese directed play, and then it was Josh Baker who scored the try. As Gungahlin get things back underway with a good kick, and the Blues have control of the ball, almost away again down that southern touchline. The big winger here in Finefo, he has just had a great run there. Made a good 20 metres. He's a big man too. He's a big winger. Bigger than half of these forwards here for the Gungahlin team as they bring it back in field here, the Queanbeyan Blues side. Back in field, cross to O'Donnell, to Campese, to the fullback in Jake Wheeler. 3 men in the tackle there for the Gungahlin Bulls. Managed to contain him. So they get set again, they go the blind side. Campese, cut out ball to the other winger over there in Tawiki. Scored 2 tries last week. Can he get a couple more today? Let's see how we go. They're putting the pressure on here, the Queanbeyan Blues. They send it back to midfield, to the big lock in Jake Steen, and he's over. Gee, they're controlling play well early here with 5 minutes. So that makes it 10 points to nil after 5 minutes here at Seaford Oval. And if the Gungahlin side aren't careful, the Blues might start to put some serious points on the board. So Terry Campese made the decision to get the ball back in field. They didn't go blind. It went to O'Donnell, and he gave the ball away to the big lock in Steen. And there wasn't much going on in defence there from Gungahlin, I have to say, under the posts. A couple of them just looked at him as he charged over the line from about 10 metres out. And Terry Campese, within about 3 minutes of his last kick, gets another chance to score a conversion. And this one a lot simpler. Only about 10 metres out and just to the right of the uprights. Shouldn't have any trouble here, Terry Campese. Manages to get that. So it's 12-0 after 6 minutes here at Seaford Oval to the Queanbeyan Blues. And they're certainly controlling this game at the moment. There's no doubt about that. They're a class outfit. And he's certainly such a dominating player, Terry Campese. Directs play very, very well. Gungahlin forced to kick off again. It's a bit higher, this one, and a bit shallower. But it's taken by the halfback in Adam Misios, and he gets the ball away. And they decide to bring it back up the middle of the field here, the Queanbeyan Blues. Sending the ball wide, though, now. And it's they go back on the inside here to Michael Cullen, and he's going to go over and score. Fair dinkum, and the horns start going off. The local fans enjoying this so far this afternoon. So virtually straight off the kick-off, 2 tackles. And the Queanbeyan Blues are over again. As we see the replay here, and again, it's that man Campese put the cutout ball out to the winger there in Tauiki. He got the ball back inside to the second rower in Cullen. He was backing up, waiting for that inside ball, and he just strolled over the line. Gee, they're making it tough here for Gungahlin so far, the Queanbeyan Blues this afternoon. It was a great ball back inside from the winger to the second rower. Terrific teamwork. It's good to see. And Terry Campese will line up another conversion attempt to bring it out to 18 points to nil if he can get this one. 8 minutes gone, 16-0, and panic stations for Gungahlin here at the Queanbeyan Blues home ground this afternoon. Seaford Oval here in the eastern part of Queanbeyan. Beautiful afternoon, beautiful blue skies, and just terrific, cool, sunny winter afternoon for rugby league. And Terry Campese lines it up, and he manages to get it. So 3 clean, straight tries, and all converted there by the Queanbeyan Blues this afternoon. Michael Cullen, Jake Steen, and Joshua Baker, the try scorers so far. And Gungahlin bring it back. Brought back out by Queanbeyan. They're brought down about 15 metres out from their own line, centre field. Which way are they going to go here? Ben Nicol. He sends it to the left-hand side. And making good metres up the middle of the ruck here, Queanbeyan. They go blind again to Campese. Gets the ball away to that try scorer in Cullen, who's making good metres up that left edge. Gungahlin need to get up in their faces here. Campese. Cut out ball. There's a good tackle there from Bradley Scholes. The Gungahlin centre. Out of dummy half they go, and big Kyle O'Donnell brings it up the field. He's tackled right on the halfway line. And that'll be the last there for Queanbeyan. Campese gets the ball on the left-hand side and puts the kick through. It'll go down to the fullback in Drury Lowe. He passes back on his inside. And they bring it out to about 12 metres out from their own line for the first tackle, Gungahlin. And they just need to work into a bit of a rhythm here. They just need to start completing their sets. They need to force Queanbeyan to tackle a bit because they really haven't had to do much of that so far in the first 10.5 minutes of this clash this afternoon. And they brought down about 38 metres out from their own line, and they go to the short side here, Gungahlin, through skulls again. And it's Withers at dummy half, gets it back to the half back there in Derek Hay, who puts the kick in. So that's a good set there from Gungahlin. Bit more pressure back on the Queanbeyan Blues. So a good contest here for the last minute and a half or so as Queanbeyan bring it back out through Jake Wheeler. And up over about 28 metres out from their own line here. Running to the eastern end of Seaford Oval this afternoon, the Queanbeyan Blues in this first half. So the Gungahlin side forced to contend with the sun in their eyes, and there's a penalty now blown to the Queanbeyan side, and there's a little bit of push and shove out there by the looks of things. Terry Campese taking charge of things. And he's waiting to get the ball back here so they can either tap it or he's going to kick for touch. And they'll get the ball back, Queanbeyan, and go on the attack again about 40 metres out from the Gungahlin line. Ball away now to Michael Cullen. He's been well involved early, the second rower for Queanbeyan, down that left-hand side. And he gets up in the tackle. Back on the inside they go to big Kyle O'Donnell, and he almost combined again there with big Jake Steen. Gee, he's a big player, big Jake Steen, big tall man. He might be ready to take this next hit up, is he? No, yes, there he goes. He charges into that Gungahlin line. He's brought down about 11 metres out. They decide to go left to Campese again. He gets the ball away to Rudiger. And he's brought down just about on the goal line. How are they going to try and get through here? Back to Campese. He sends the ball right. Oh, and it wasn't the best pass there from Missios, the halfback for Queanbeyan, and I think they've put it down here. Yeah, they have. So that'll be a scrum feed to the Gungahlin Bulls side. So they're off the hook for now. It's probably the first attacking set that's gone pear-shaped for Queanbeyan this afternoon. 13 minutes into this first half here at Seaford Oval. And the first scrum of the afternoon as well. And it'll be fed by Derek Hay, the Gungahlin halfback. They just need to work that rhythm again. They need to just complete a good solid set here like they did the last time they came out of their own half. And they get it away to the front rower in Kai Madden, and he decides to go up the guts of the field there. He's brought down by Cullen and also Campese in the tackle. Charging forward now, this is good stuff, up to the 40-metre line by the fullback in Drury Lowe. It's a bit of push and shove here between Drury Lowe and one of the Queanbeyan players. Oh, couple of punches thrown. And now they're all into it. Referee will have his work cut out for him here to try and calm things down. Gee, they need to just cool down out there a bit, the players. Obviously a bit of talk here early. Referee's going to convene with the Southern touchline touch judge to try and work out what happened. But both sides are now separated and they'll be ready just to get back into it. Training staff onto the field, give the players a bit of a drink and a bit of a breather. Terry Campese's been called over with what looks to be the offending player for Queanbeyan, and they're having a chat to him. I'm not quite sure who it might be. Michael Cullen, and he's been sent off. 10 in the bin for Michael Cullen. Well, it was pretty clear that there was a punch thrown there in that melee, so he'll be having a bit of a spell and he'll be coming up the race and back into the change rooms for a bit of a cool down. So the penalty goes to Gungahlin, and they get a good chance to attack now inside the Queanbeyan Blues half. So they're down a man for 10 minutes. This is where they can really try and claw back a bit here, the Gungahlin Bulls. And the crowd are right into it now as well as they go through the big man, Shannon McCaskin. He managed to get past a couple of those Queanbeyan Blues defenders, and he's brought down about 30 metres out, 28 metres out. They go to the right-hand side. Cross they go. Some good passing there. Bramich brought down. They're going to go back midfield through David Williams, who decides to go for a bit of a run himself. Last tackle here for the Gungahlin Bulls. What are they going to do here? Oh, and it's the big man. Kai Madden got the ball, and he's jumped over the line next to the left-hand post, and he scored the try. So there you go. They've managed to claw one back here, Gungahlin, as we see the replay. And big Kai Madden through the dummy to the left-hand side, and then just decided to step off the left. It's pretty good work there from the big front rower. And he manages to put the ball down to the left of the left-hand upright. And Lincoln Withers will be the one to convert this, and it shouldn't be too difficult for him. So it's 18 points to 4 with nearly 17 minutes gone in this first half here at Seaford Oval this afternoon in this round 12 clash between the Blues and the Bulls. So Kai Madden. And Withers converts that one. 18 points to 6. The Blues are down a man with Michael Cullen off the field following a bit of an incident there midfield where there was a bit of a melee. And that allowed the Gungahlin side to get on a bit of a roll. They got the penalty and got inside the Queanbeyan Blues half and did pretty well with it. Managed to get the try, and they needed to after that quick start from Queanbeyan. And it was a low, piercing kickoff there from Terry Campese to get the game going again, and it missed all of the Gungahlin Bulls players. So they'll be forced now to go with the dropout. And they put themselves back under pressure once again with 18 minutes gone in this first half. So, a disappointing start to the game again. And this one goes relatively high, and it's taken by Missios, 40 metres out. He gives it away to Aaron McInnes, who's brought down midfield. Which way are they going to go here? Ben Nicol, he sends it to the left-hand side. And they're about 25 metres out from the goal line here now. Get it away. They decide to go to the right-hand side of the field. And that was Jake Wheeler. Across they go now to Nasiri, who's on the field now for the Blues, getting involved. And Nicol sends it away to the big lock in Jake Steen, who he's almost over the line there, brought up right on the goal line. It goes back to Campese, and he sends the cutout pass away to Tyler Stevens. 9 tries so far this season, and that's a disappointing end of that set. They couldn't manage to get anything done there, the Queanbeyan side, and it's now up to Gungahlin just to slog it out, to work it out of their own half. 19 and a half gone, so a quarter of the match gone, and it's 18 points to 6 in favour of the Queanbeyan Blues. They were fast starting this afternoon. Baker, Steen and Cullen have all scored, and Kai Madden managed to claw it back for Gungahlin just a few minutes ago. As they work it out of their own half here, the Gungahlin Bulls brought down about 39 metres out from their own goal line. Back in field they go, and it's Smith Shields with the ball. They've got good numbers in the tackles here this afternoon, the Queanbeyan Blues, as They put the kick in the Bulls, and it's taken by Tauiki out there on the wing. And he brings it back. And it's starting to be a bit of a midfield tussle here between these two sides. The Queanbeyan Blues brought down 45 out from their own goal line. Second tackle. Back on the inside they go to the man who's come on, Nasiri. And the Queanbeyan Blues side will get the ball back here. Looks like there was an infringement in the ruck there from the Gungahlin Bulls team. And they're back under pressure again. There's a good kick for touch, and Terry Campese barking orders, getting ready to go here, and the centre decides to take it himself, the diminutive Riediger. Brought down 5 metres out. Back it goes to Campese, to Nasiri. Brought down in the tackle, and they're holding him down for a while here. They're going to have to be careful, Gungahlin, about that. To Steen, away to Missios. Have to decide what they're going to do here to try and penetrate Gungahlin. They go back to Campese, who sends it left to Nasiri. He's trying to weave around a few defenders. But he's tackled. And what's Terry going to do here? Gets it back to Missios. He's trying to go for a bit of a dart himself, but he was brought down by Skulls, who did very, very well here. They've done well defensively, but over in the corner is Finefoe. And the Gungahlin winger was sucked into the defence there, and it left Finefoe with acres of space out there, but it's not going to be awarded this try. It's going to be given back to the Gungahlin side, and they're going to play it 10 metres out. And here they are left to work it away. Going up the left-hand side here through Skulls, 32 metres out from his own line. And the quick tackles here, Gungahlin. They're starting to play with a bit of pace now. Lincoln Withers directing play. They're back to midfield, about 42 metres out from their line. He goes for a run from dummy half himself. And it's Withers brought down by Campese and Missios. And another blue. Away they go here through David Williams, who darts out to the right-hand side, but they've appear to have lost the ball here, Gungahlin, which is disappointing for them. And they'll look to set the scrum over on that southern side, or the northern side rather, of Seaford Oval this afternoon, and about 40 metres out from the Queanbeyan Blues goal line. So they'll be left to work it away here. Good tussle through the middle of the field. 24 minutes gone, almost 24 minutes gone. 18-6 the score here at Seaford this afternoon for this clash between 1st and 8th in the Canberra Raiders Cup first grade competition. And gee, there's some good defence there from the Gungahlin side at halfway. Nasiri was absolutely driven back, and it goes to Missios. He's trying to work out what he's going to do on this right-hand side. Where they go now through Tyler Stevens, who's brought down about 31 out on this right-hand side. And the big 17 here in the Garters on the field. Gee, he's a big man. And the penalty's blown in favour of the Queanbeyan Blues. Gungahlin not doing themselves any favours. Gee, after about 5 or 6 minutes of this game, they scored a couple of quick tries and then got the third not too long after that. And Queanbeyan were away to an 18-0 lead, and it looked like it was going to go on from there. But Gungahlin have managed to claw things back. Queanbeyan, rather, have managed to claw things back. And they've been going on the attack here, but they get the penalty again here, the Queanbeyan side. Appears to be a lack of discipline here from Gungahlin in defence. And they'll get ready to take this fresh set with 25 minutes gone in this first half here at Seaford Oval on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. And it's going to be Tyler Stevens to take the tap. He gives it away to Brendan Spears, who's come on the field with fresh legs for the Queanbeyan side. And it's a good tackle to uproot him and drive him into the ground. They go away through Nagata. And they move over to that left-hand side. And it's the big front rower in McInnes playing it. And they try to go from dummy half, but can't get through. Back to Campese. He gets ready. He gives it away to the fullback, and through Wheeler. The ball was given then to Finefo from, I think it was Tyler Stevens, who tapped the ball out to his winger, did a terrific job at it. Looked very, very slick indeed. We're going to have to look at this replay very, very closely. But let's have a look at this. Terry, he's deciding which way to go. He gets it to Wheeler. He gets it to Stevens, who then just pops it on very quickly to Finefo, who manages to run back a bit closer to the posts once he got over the goal line to put the try down to make the conversion attempt a bit easier. So that'll make it 22 points to 6 here at Seaford this afternoon, with 27 gone in this first half. And Terry Campese will be ready to line up this conversion attempt. Just a reminder that Cullen is off for 10 minutes after a bit of a scuffle out there midfield. So they're down a man here, the Queanbeyan Blues. But they'll be ready to get... he's back on the field now, actually, Cullen. He's come back on as Terry Campese lines this one up. So they've had to contend with that. They've had to contend with being down a man. And Campese lines it up from about 22 out. He pushes it away and doesn't get the chocolates this time. So the score remains 22 points to 6 with just about 28 minutes gone in this clash at Seaford Oval this afternoon, with Gungahlin getting ready to bring the ball back and kick off again. Quite a few people in here this afternoon. Good to see some groups of people up on that southern hill there. Some families out for this Saturday afternoon watching their local league. And they kick off here, Gungahlin. It's going to be given to the big number 10 for Queanbeyan in McInnes. Gee, he's an imposing player. Absolutely terrific. And it looks to be Big Nagata taking that second hit up. Brought down about 30 metres out. And they go back again to McInnes. Tag teaming here. Terrific work from the big men for Queanbeyan. As Terry Campese tried to get the ball through to Michael Cullen. And if he managed to connect there, he would have been away and probably scored, but it didn't come off. So they'll set the scrum over on that northern side of Seaford Oval, and Gungahlin will get the feed, so they'll get the ball back and have an opportunity. 22 points to 6 with just shy of half an hour gone here at Seaford Oval this afternoon. And they take it forward now through Ross McGinn for the Gungahlin side. Withers at dummy half. Way to Scholes. Tries to dart his way through, and he's brought down about 30 metres out from the Blues line. Withers back to Derek Hay. Go right again, Hay. Away to McCaskin. And they're making good metres here, the Gungahlin side. They need to try and get themselves into a position for a scoring opportunity. Oh, and gee, that's a good tackle by Big Nagata for Queanbeyan. Good defence. They go the blind side through David Williams, and he managed to get the ball out there, I think, to Rocco Sullivan. Not Rocco Sullivan, to Ross McGinn, sorry, on the other wing. But they'll now be forced to play it 10 metres out. Withers, he puts the kick across field, and he was trying to find the fullback in Drury Lowe, but instead it was a Blues player who swept through and took the ball, and he's brought down about 10 metres out from the line. And they're forced to work it away here, the Queanbeyan Blues, and try and get it out. And this tussle up the middle of the field will continue this afternoon. Half an hour gone, 22 points to 6 in favour of the Queanbeyan side. And they've been dominant for most of this game, Queanbeyan. They certainly had a very quick start, getting out to an 18-0 lead. And for a while there, it looked like they were going to go on with it. But Gungahlins managed to claw it back and make it a bit more of a contest as they kick through, and it's taken by O'Sullivan, who works his way back in field and brought down about 20 metres out from his own goal line. Drury Lowe at dummy half. He sends it to the right-hand side. And the Queanbeyan Blues are up in their faces here defensively. Dart out a dummy half. And gee, it's good defence there by the Queanbeyan side. That was Brendan Spears in the tackle. Good strength displayed there. Given away to Shannon McCaskill, and he was looking around there for somebody to pass the ball to, but had to submit in the tackle. Ball away to Derek Hay, who puts the kick in, and it's a pretty good one. Pretty well timed and weighted, and it's taken by Wheeler back in the in-goal area there for Queanbeyan, who works his way out, and he manages to do very, very well. About 28 metres out, right over there on that left-hand side, on the northern side of the ground. That was excellent work by Jake Wheeler. Weaved his way around a couple of Gungahlin Bulls defenders. And they were up pretty good on the chase as well, Gungahlin. So it was testament to Wheeler. And an error there by the Queanbeyan side. Looks like the Gungahlin side will get the ball back. So about 8 minutes to go here in this first half at Seaford this afternoon. This round 12 clash between the Queanbeyan Blues and the Gungahlin Bulls, as they set the scrum. Be nice if they could get another try before half-time, Gungahlin, to get back to a 10-point gap. It'll make the second half all the more interesting. They've done pretty well so far this season, Queanbeyan. They haven't lost a game. And the Gungahlin side, it's their opportunity this afternoon to try and force that first loss for the Queanbeyan Blues. They're taking a while to get this scrum going. The referee wants to make sure things are right over there, giving the players some time to have a breather from both teams. And he blows time back on again. Back to Hay. And the ball goes back to Drury Lowe. He's brought down about 40 metres out from the Queanbeyan Blues line. They go the blind side through Scholes, who tries to drive his way forward. And it's Jake Scholes now at dummy half, directing play for Queanbeyan as they go deep inside the Queanbeyan Blues half. And it's given away to the big front rower in Kai Madden, and back again to McCaskill. And they're on the back foot here, Queanbeyan. They've got it all to play for Gungahlin. How are they going to get this try? Why they go through Hay to Sheen Lomax, who's brought down on the left-hand side of the field. And it's Hay again, puts the kick through, but it was taken by Campese pretty well back there in the in-goal area, and they get out of jail, Queanbeyan. But they're containing them here, Gungahlin, in the first couple of tackles. So they're not going to let them get out too far too easily here, Gungahlin, which is good to see. And 34 minutes gone here at Seaford this afternoon. Goes away to Rudiger out there on that left-hand edge for the Queanbeyan side as they work it away again. Brought down about 40 metres out from their own line. Kick through for Queanbeyan, and it's taken by O'Sullivan over there for Gungahlin, who brings it back in field. He's done that a few times this afternoon. He likes to straighten things up and get the line set there to Sullivan. And they bring it back up to halfway here, the Gungahlin side. And it's Ben Sculls in the dummy half position now for Lincoln Withers, who's having a bit of a break. And they're back inside Blues territory. And they bring it forward here through Kai Madden, do the Bulls. And it was Big Nasiri involved in the tackle. Gee, you wouldn't want to be running at him as an attacking player. Oh, and it's an exciting bounce there for the Gungahlin side. And it's O'Sullivan who very luckily manages to get the ball back there. They go blind. Oh, and it was, I think it was Sheen Lomax out there who was fended off by some Blues players and some terrific defence. He was driven over the line. We'll have a look at this replay. It was Sheen Lomax did all he could to try and get the ball down in the corner, but just couldn't penetrate that very, very impressive Blues defence. So that score stands 22 points to 6 with about 4 minutes to go in this first half at Seaford this afternoon. And the scrum will set for the Blues. And things are looking pretty bunched in there at the moment. Coming up to half-time, no doubt the players are starting to tire a bit, and it goes through Tawiki, who gets the ball across field. And it's Campese out of dummy half and gives the ball back away to Nasiri, who straightens things up, brought down about 25 metres out from his line. And Nagata, he makes some good metres here, up over the 40, and the crowd certainly like it. Out of dummy half there goes Ben Nicol. And the ball it popped up there for a Blues big man there in the number 15, Scott Rutland, who's on the field now. He almost made a break. But the scrum will set, and it'll be a feed to the Gungahlin side. So that ball popped out there from the Blues, so give the ball away as we start to close in on that half-time break. Got Luke Hall, that late change for Gungahlin, almost ready to come onto the field this afternoon. Just shy of half-time. Under 3 minutes to go now. They go to the right-hand side, the Gungahlin side, and they're brought down just over halfway by the Blues. Back in field they go. And it's Ben Nicol in the tackle there for Queanbeyan, doing a pretty good job bringing down Jesse Smith-Shields. Way to the big 16 in Luke Skidmore. And he's driven into the turf about 35 metres out from the Blues line. Which way are they going to go here? They go to the left. And the ball goes to Sheen Lomax, who's darting in and out there. And it's a bit of work there from Queanbeyan to try and contain Sheen Lomax. He's done pretty well out here on this left-hand side so far. They're making a bit of half a break here, the Gungahlin side, through midfield, and they're brought down about 10 metres out. Be good if they could get a score on the board before half-time. But that ball goes dead, and not to be. 22 points to 6 is the score. As we see here, the kick through from Derek Hay, and Sheen Lomax was chasing it, but it went dead there. In fact, it is a dropout. They were forced to take it over the line by the looks of things, the Queanbeyan Blues side. So another opportunity for Gungahlin just shy of half-time. They'll get about one set in. And taking a bit of time there in the in-goal area as Terry Campese to get this one back underway. Gungahlin waiting in anticipation for this. They mean business. They want to get something done before half-time. And the referee blows time back. And it's a pretty good dropout. Goes over the halfway there to Derek Hay, who takes it. And it's the big 19 in Luke Hall who's come onto the field, and he's meaning business. Back away they go through Jake Scholes, 30 metres out. About half a minute to go in this first half at Seaford. And it's David Williams with the ball now. Brought down about 30 metres out on the right-hand side of the field. Away they go again, Gungahlin. They need to roll the dice now. It goes through Queanbeyan. Away through Derek Hay. And they managed to draw that penalty through Luke Skidmore, the Gungahlin side, and I want to take this opportunity. The kick goes through the halfback in Derek Hay, who puts a Hail Mary out there to the winger pretty much in Samuel Bramich, the centre. And has he got the ball down over there? And that'll just about be half-time. Heard the siren go. So it's 22 points to 6 the score in favour of the Queanbeyan Blues here at Seaford Oval over the Gungahlin Bulls. It's been a pretty dominant first half display from Queanbeyan, but they've shown glimpses of some good stuff, the Gungahlin side as well, as both sides look to make their way back to the sheds for that half-time break. And we'll be back with you after this for the second half here at a beautiful sunny Seaford Oval in Queanbeyan. And welcome back to Seaford Oval in beautiful Queanbeyan on this Saturday afternoon, the 1st of July, for this round 12 clash of the Canberra Raiders Cup first grade competition. 22 points to 6 at 22 points to 6 rather at half time. Queanbeyan Blues over the Gungahlin Bulls here at Seaford Oval, and the Gungahlin side have just made their way back out onto the field following half time, and they'll be running to the eastern end of Seaford in this second half. Probably notionally the easier end to be running to during this game, probably just because of the position of the sun. So the Queanbeyan Blues players will have to contend with that sun being in their eyes in the second half. They got out to a pretty quick 18-0 lead, the Queanbeyan side, early. After about 10 minutes, they were 18-0 up, and the Gungahlin side managed to force a contest of it and claw it back. Baker, Steen, Cullen and Finefo, the try scorers for the Queanbeyan side, and Queanbeyan, the big number 8 for Gungahlin, the try scorer for the Bulls, as the Queanbeyan Blues come back out onto the field, and they'll be running to the western end of Seaford in this second half. There was a bit of drama there earlier with Michael Cullen sin bin for 10 minutes, following a bit of a scuffle in play. A bit of a melee developed out there in the middle of the park, and the referee thought it best to send the man off. So they were down a man for part of that first half, Queanbeyan, but they've managed to come through it pretty well as Gungahlin get ready to kick off here, get this second half underway. Undefeated so far this season, the Queanbeyan Blues side, and Gungahlin, they are in second last position. So if they could claw it back here, it'd be terrific this afternoon. And they get things underway through the half back in Derek Hay, who kicks the ball downfield, and it's taken by the Blues over there on that far side of the field, on the northern side of the field. And they're brought down about 15 metres out from their own goal line on the right-hand side. Back in field they go through. Gee, it was a big... One of the defenders was fended off there big time by one of the Blues players, and they decide to straighten things up and come back through the middle of the field here, the Queanbeyan Blues. Pretty physical game this afternoon, and the ball was given away there to Big Nagata, who just dropped it cold, and he's very disappointed in himself as a result. So we just see this phase of play coming through, and it was probably a forward pass as well, I would suggest, to Nagata, and he popped it up. So the scrum feed will be taken by the Gungahlin side, and this is a good opportunity for them about 35 metres out from the Queanbeyan Blues goal line. It'll be put in there by the 5'8" in Dave Williams, and they get it out the back there and take it up the middle of the ruck. Brought down about 25 metres out from the line, and it goes through Josh Baker. He drives it forward. And they're going pretty well here, Gungahlin. Good metres up the centre of the ruck. Gee, they brought down about 5 metres out, and Queanbeyan are going to have to do their best to contain them. Through Derek Hay, was trying to find a runner there out on that left edge. They go left again through the fullback in Drury Lowe, and that ball was lost over there. So it appears to be the case that Queanbeyan will get the ball back and will feed the scrum about 10 metres out from their own line. So they looked pretty good there, the Gungahlin side, and it was an attacking flair that they were going with. So good signs in the early stages of this second half for Gungahlin. And the scrum almost broke away, but the referees called it back. Wants to make sure things are right. They get it out the back to Queanbeyan. And good numbers in the tackle there from Gungahlin, and they drive the Queanbeyan player into the turf. Pretty tough stuff out there in the early stages. And there's a bit of push and shove. I think they're just going to have to spend a little bit of time here to get things right. But it looks to be a Gungahlin player who's down over there, and he's now getting some attention from the Gungahlin Bulls staff. As we see the phase of play here, we might get a good look at what happened. It looked to be big Jake Steen, I think, who was taking the ball out for Queanbeyan. And one of those defenders came off a little worse for wear. I think it might have been possibly Samuel Bramich over there. Not Samuel Bramich, probably Smith Shields. There were quite a few of them over there. Anyway, the staff are certainly taking their time, and it's that player on the ground, he's not getting up, so the play's been stopped, and it's not looking too good, but obviously they can take their time over there just to make sure things are right, make sure things are safe. The medical staff, and there's been a bit of an interruption here. Clock stopped at 42 minutes and 48 seconds. Appears to be Jake Skulls, the player, the hooker for the Gungahlin Bulls, who's down. And quite a few staff now over there on the field attending to him. And he hasn't been moving too much over there, so hopefully things are okay, but this is just part of the game. Things have got to take their course here. Players are having a bit more of a rest. A couple of players stretching out there. Lincoln Withers. And it's a bit of a bit of an interruption to this game early in this second half. Pretty nice day here in Queanbeyan this afternoon, as I've mentioned throughout this broadcast. Quite a few families up there on that northern hill, quite a few vehicles in here, out here enjoying the local rugby league. Pretty cold here in Canberra last night, down to -7 or -8, and it's a pretty cold night, but it's turned into an absolutely glorious day in the region, and virtually not a cloud in the sky and very little wind, so beautiful conditions for football. And Seaford Oval, the ground's in pretty good nick as well. The surface is pretty good. They had reserve grade played here earlier, and it was a 38-6 thumping by the Queanbeyan Blues over the Gungahlin Bulls in the reserve grade. So a convincing victory for them. Just going through those try scorers again. 22 points to 6 the score at half-time, and that has not changed with just about 3 minutes played in this second half. Joshua Baker, the first try scorer for Queanbeyan. He was followed by Jake Steen and also Michael Cullen. So the back row all getting a try there for Queanbeyan, and also Finefo, the winger as well, managed to pick one up. And the sole try scorer for the Gungahlin side, Queanbeyan, the number 8, the big front rower. So we're just waiting for the medical staff and the team staff of the Gungahlin Bulls to decide what they're going to do over there. Jake Skulls was caught up in a pretty congested tackle over there, and he doesn't appear to have moved too much since that tackle. It's probably been up to 4 or 5 minutes now that play's been stopped. Players from both sides starting to bunch up and talk amongst themselves in little groups. A little bit of movement now. Let's see what they're going to do with Jake Skulls. He's sitting up, which is good. He's sitting up and they're having a chat to him, the medical staff over there. Referee's not too far away either, but judging by how long he's been down, I would be surprised if he manages to get up and take much more of a role in this game. They've laid him back down again, the medical staff have. This is Jake Skulls, the dummy half for the Gungahlin Bulls side. And it's been quite a delay now, but absolutely necessary to ensure the safety of the players and Looks like they're going to bring the stretcher out. One of the runners is bringing the stretcher out onto the field. They may or may not need to use it. It's out there as an option. But Jake Scull's getting attended to. He was brought down about, well, the Queanbeyan side brought the ball back out, and Jake Scull's was a number of Gungahlin defenders involved in the tackle, and he obviously fell awkwardly, or was hit awkwardly, or was ended up under the play awkwardly, and he's come off worse for wear. And he was sitting up just a couple of moments ago, which was a good sign, but the medical staff have decided to lay him back down again. There's a stretcher out there, and a decision will be made, no doubt, very shortly about what to do regarding this injury. A couple of other games happening in the competition around the region this afternoon in the first grade competition. Belconnen United taking on the Queanbeyan Roos at O'Connor. The Yass Magpies taking on the Woden Valley Rams at Walker Park. And tomorrow, Tuggeranong are taking on Goulburn at Greenway. West Belconnen have the bye in this round 12. So we'll get some scores from those games a bit later on. It's about 11 degrees here, about 3, bit after 3, 3:15 in the afternoon here in Queanbeyan. But it's an absolutely glorious winter day. And Jake Scull's is still getting worked on out there. There's been quite a substantial delay in play now. But as I mentioned, absolutely necessary to ensure the safety of the players. You can never handle these sorts of situations too carefully. And the staff are being put through their paces at the moment to ensure the safety of one of the players. Lincoln Withers and Terry Campese out there having a chat. Both former members of the Green Machine. They'll be playing tonight, taking on the North Queensland Cowboys at GIO Stadium across town. No doubt it'll be pretty cold out there for that kickoff tonight at about 7:30. And I'm sure a few of these players and a few of these fans who are here this afternoon will be heading out to that one. Haven't had the best run over the past few weeks, the Canberra Raiders. Went down to the Brisbane Broncos last Saturday and taking on the North Queensland Cowboys in Canberra again tonight. And for any fans who are going out there, you'll want to make sure you rug up because it's going to be a pretty cold night. 7:30 kickoff on the 1st of July in Canberra. Make sure you take the blankets. Make sure you take the coats and the beanies and the gloves as well, because it's going to be a cold one. So there's probably been almost up to a 10-minute delay here now with one of the Gungahlin Bulls players, we believe it's Jake Scull's, came off a little worse for wear, defending a run coming out from the Queanbeyan Blues, just coming out of their own line. Obviously fell awkwardly in the tackle. He was one of a number of defenders making it, but came off worse for wear. And the medical staff had him sitting up a little earlier, but they've laid him back down, and they're just working on him over there to make sure everything's okay. But judging by the amount of inactivity from him, I would suggest that he wouldn't be playing too much of a part further in this game this afternoon between the Queanbeyan Blues and the Gungahlin Bulls. So we'll just have to bide our time here to see what's going to be happening further. As I mentioned, pretty nice day here in Queanbeyan. I think there's a National Rugby League game happening at the moment. I'll just see if I can get an update on that for you. Just have a look here. And that game between the Sydney Roosters and the Cronulla Sharks. About 15 minutes gone, and it's 6-0 to the Sharks. This, of course, coming after last night's game between the Melbourne Storm and the Brisbane Broncos, and Melbourne ran over the top of Brisbane. And in that earlier game, the Gold Coast Titans defeated St George 20 points to 10, and that, of course, was after Thursday night's game where Parramatta got home by a point over the Canterbury Bulldogs. In that 5:30 game coming up this afternoon, Manly playing the Warriors at NIB Stadium over there in Perth. And, of course, tonight, as I mentioned, the Canberra Raiders taking on the North Queensland Cowboys, hoping for the win at GIO Stadium. And a pretty cold night, I would imagine, coming up. Blue skies at the moment during the day, and that means it's going to get pretty cold here at night. So we've only had just shy of 3 minutes played here in this second half, but as a result of this injury concern for the Gungahlin Bulls, we've had play delayed now for probably more than 10 minutes. And players are on the field, both teams, sitting and standing, just taking a breather. Some of them have put the coats on just to make sure they're keeping warm, not to cramp up. Crowd enjoying a pretty pleasant afternoon out here at Seaford this afternoon. It's a terrific ground to watch local footy in a terrific part of the world. So we'll have to get an update here soon about what's going to be happening. Again, just to run through those point scorers, try scorers so far in this game. At 22 points to 6, Queanbeyan over Gungahlin. Josh Baker scored first, the number 12, the second rower for the Queanbeyan side. It was then followed by Jake Steen, and then Michael Cullen scored not long after that as well, before Queanbeyan managed to claw one back for the Gungahlin Bulls. And then Francis Finefo for Queanbeyan managed to get another one there for the Blues. Undefeated so far this season. And, well, at this stage, certainly they're on track to keep that winning record intact. Gungahlin, well, they've had less fortunes so far this season. Only managing to win, I think it's the 3 games. They've lost 7. They're second last on the table. And they've come out here, and it's been a pretty tough ask for them this afternoon, you'd have to say, so far. But by no means have they been disgraced so far in this game. They've managed to hold things together. But a key injury now to Jake Skulls is obviously going to hamper their chances, with most of this second half still to be played. So I think most people here at Seaford Oval this afternoon are all waiting and wondering, looking over to that spot on the field where most of the activities taking place around that injured player, waiting to see what's going to happen. Just hoping that he's okay and that we can get play back underway very, very shortly. That shadow starting to make its way across the field, being caused by the grandstand on the southern side here where we are at Seaford Oval. So as that game goes on, no doubt that shadow will creep its way across. Good to see the youngsters right around the ground having a kick of the footy, entertaining themselves before we wait for the main game to recommence. Got to tell you, it's pretty cold here in the shade. It's looks like a beautiful day, but if you don't have a few layers on, you'll be feeling it. So Better say good day again to Chris Coleman if he's listening on the live stream this afternoon. Had to duck up to Sydney at the last minute, but I did speak to Chris during the week, and he said he might be tuning in on the live stream. So good day to you, Chris, if you're out there. You're missing a beautiful afternoon here at Seaford Oval for some terrific first grade rugby league action. So things are not moving on particularly quickly out there for the injured player, and staff are still attending to him. So play's probably been delayed now for about 15 minutes here at Seaford Oval. So we'll just await any sort of activity and see what's going to happen. But quite a few of those Queanbeyan players now lying down at that southern end, stretching out, keeping their muscles warm. A couple of them have got the big long coats on, as do a few of the Gungahlin Bulls players. And we'll just wait to see what happens over there. We might take a little bit of a break now, and we'll be back when activity recommences here at Seaford.
Will I shut this down?
And welcome back to Seaford Oval in sunny Queanbeyan on this Saturday afternoon. We've just had about a 50-minute delay with one of the Gungahlin Bulls players. I believe it's Jake Skulls, who was injured about 50 minutes ago, only less than 3 minutes into the second half. He fell awkwardly in a tackle. There was a lot of traffic, and since he's been lying on his back out there in the middle of the field, we had to wait a considerable amount of time for an ambulance to arrive here at Seaford Oval. But the staff did a very good job before the ambulance got here, and now ambulance staff as well as club staff have taken over, and they're doing a very good job to make sure that the injured player is comfortable, or is as comfortable as he can be. He's getting very carefully put into the ambulance, but it doesn't look very good, and it's not going to be a very good afternoon for him, and he'll be off to hospital, obviously. He was sitting up earlier, so club staff had him sitting up earlier, but they laid him back down, and he was pretty much lying down for the duration, well, pretty much for the last 50 minutes, I guess, for this interruption in this game. Both teams have been warming up again to keep their muscles warm in the last 10 to 15 minutes or so, and we'd expect to get things back underway here very, very shortly at Seaford Oval. Currently 22 points to 6 in favour of the Queanbeyan Blues team over the Gungahlin Bulls, and 42-48 on the clock. So most of the second half still to go here at Seaford Oval, and that shadow is creeping its way right across the ground now, and it is midwinter, so that sunlight will be fading very, very quickly. So I'm sure those who are controlling and managing the game this afternoon will want to get things back underway as quickly as possible, because the light will be fading here at Seaford Oval. Everyone's been pretty patient here, while staff and medical staff and the ambulance staff have been dealing with this injury, and players starting to get into position. The Gungahlin side starting to form a defensive line already out there on the 20. They're really getting ready to get this game back underway, but the ambulance still in position, and the injured player is inside of it, but they're just making sure that he'll be right for the journey back to hospital. So, very disappointing afternoon for him. And for the Gungahlin Bulls side, it's a blow for them, down 22 points to 6 on the scoreboard. It's been a pretty dominant display from the Queanbeyan Blues this afternoon. Tries to Josh Baker, Jake Steen and Michael Cullen, as well as the winger Francis Finefo. And that solitary try to the Gungahlin Bulls through the big front rower in Queanbeyan. Just to update you on another score from the Canberra Raiders Cup competition this afternoon, the Queanbeyan Roos have defeated the Belconnen United side 44 points to 22 this afternoon. So that game has wrapped up now. It's past 4 o'clock here in Queanbeyan. So, I mean, it's pretty dark by 5 o'clock these days at this time of the year, so it's going to be pretty dark by the time that this game finishes, you would imagine, this evening. Most people have been hanging around, most of the fans, most of the families and supporters, been waiting patiently, getting ready to get this game back underway. And the temperature starting to drop, of course, as the light fades. So hopefully not too much longer to go now before this round 12 clash. The second half of this round 12 clash resumes, and we can get back to the footy. But of course, you can never treat any injury situation too carefully. And we have to commend all of the medical staff and the club staff who have helped out this afternoon. They're always here on standby. And we always hope that they never have to put all of their skills to the test, because we always hope for injury-free games, but that's just part of rugby league. So it looks like the ambulance might be getting ready to go now, and Lincoln Withers will obviously slot back into that dummy half position for the Gungahlin Bulls team after playing most of the first half. And it looks that things might get back underway very, very quickly here. We just have to wait for a few staff and, of course, the ambulance to exit the field. Players obviously eager to get back underway. They've had a break now for, well, near on an hour. So it's not the most conventional way to be playing a game of footy. They would have been done by now if there was no injury. But the ambulance now leaving the field here at Seaford Oval. So we wish that injured player, Jake Scholes, all the best. And hopefully he can have a speedy recovery from his injury concern this afternoon. So we'll get the game back underway here at Seaford this afternoon. Players have been eager for this, and the Queanbeyan Blues will be playing the ball 10 metres out from their own line, and off they go. They've had plenty of rest, and they're ready and firing to go now. And they'll play the ball about 25 metres out from their own line. Back in field they go through Big Nagata, and he's brought down about 20 metres out. Good tackling there from the Gungahlin Bulls. Up quickly in defence. Back across to Queanbeyan. It goes to Cullen, and he's driving his way forward. Good offload out the back to Queanbeyan. He gets it out here to the winger in Ridiger. And in dummy half, Ben Nicol getting the ball back on the inside there, and they start to straighten things up here, the Queanbeyan Blues. Pretty good defensive set so far on the last now for Queanbeyan, forced to kick inside their own half, and Terry Campese gets it upfield, and it'll be taken by the fullback in Drury Lowe. He shows it to his winger, but he looks to penetrate the defensive line of the Queanbeyan Blues, and they're brought down about 38 metres out from their own line. And Drury Lowe, he's not in a good way. He's not standing up after taking a heavy tackle there after bringing that ball back in, and he'll be receiving some attention. Anyway, they're off and away now, the Queanbeyan Blues. It's big Kai Madden making a bit of a charge up this right-hand side of the field now. Lincoln Withers, he decides to go to the short side through his lock forward in Jesse Smith-Shields. And Withers will look to send it back inside now. Away it goes to Williams. He sends it back across to Hay. And it's over there to Sheen Lomax now. He's going for a bit of a run. Back across the left side. And in back play here, we're just having a look at Drury Lowe in this break in play. He's been attended to by his team's runner. Anyway, he's gotten back up and he's running back into the play. So it would have been very disheartening to have two injury concerns for the Gungahlin side, but Drury Lowe's back on his feet. He copped a bit of a knock, but he's back into it. Anyway, the scrum will set now, and it'll be a feed by the looks of things to the Queanbeyan side. Feed back to the Gungahlin side, and they go on the attack. They're within the 10-metre zone now of the Queanbeyan Blues, and they're looking to put a try on the board early in this second half. They play the ball. They send it out to the right-hand side through Williams, and he tries to charge over, tries to go himself. Lincoln Withers back into dummy half. He gets the ball back away. Goes to Hay. Gets it on to big Kai Madden, and he's brought down by a couple of Queanbeyan Blues defenders about 8 metres out from the line. They go to the left-hand side now. Hay, he gets the ball away to another runner, and he can't be too far away from that try line there. How are they going to penetrate this? Back to Hay, Show. He gets it back to Lowe. Back away to Williams now. They're going to the other side of the field. He's going to flick it out to his winger there in Ross McGinn. And Ross McGinn, he's over the line and scores for the Gungahlin Bulls. So that's an excellent start for their second half. Gungahlin. So he did it in a pretty spectacular fashion, did Ross McGinn. But it was a good ball from the 5'8" in Williams. They were over the left-hand side of the field. They couldn't get through there, and they thought, well, we'll go the other way. Williams threw the cutout ball to McGinn, and there were no defenders there marking him up. They'd come in field, those Queanbeyan Blues defenders. So it was enterprising work from Gungahlin to go from one side to the other. They thought about it, and Ross McGinn went over right near that corner post. He had to dive over the line there. So McGinn scores for Gungahlin, and Williams will line up the conversion attempt from a fair way out, from about 1 metre in from touch and about 27 metres out. Wastes no time, and it's a pretty good straight kick, all but over the black dot. And that'll take the score up to 22 points, 2-12. So Gungahlin getting back into this. An excellent start to their second half. And that'll provide a bit of confidence for them with 48 minutes on the clock. So Queanbeyan bring it back, and Terry Campese kicks off to get things back underway. Bit of a wobbly old kick, but it kept Gungahlin guessing, and it was an effective one as a result. They're up in their faces, and the Gungahlin runner will be brought down about 12 metres out from his own line, left-hand side. They decide to stay over there and charge up there. I think it was through Queanbeyan. Ball back away. And that's good defence there from the Queanbeyan Blues, particularly there, Brendan Spears, the number 14. And then away they go up the short side again. Withers darting out of dummy half. He's still got it, Lincoln Withers. It's the ball away to Hay, who puts up a high kick. No one quite knows where it's gone. It's hit the noggin of one of the Gungahlin players, and they send it out to the right-hand side. And McGinn, he's trying to make a break again. But anyway, that was the last, and Terry Campese will play it about 38 metres out from his own line on the left-hand side. They get it away to the fullback in Jake Wheeler, who's driven back by the Gungahlin defence, and that's spirited stuff from the Gungahlin side. Why they going out to Big Nagata, who's driven back once again. Excellent work there from the Gungahlin side. Nagata's not happy. He had a bit of a swipe there at Lincoln Withers, and the stink's on again. It was Lincoln Withers and Ilaso Nagata, the big man. So the referee. So Nagata went forward, and he had a bit of a swipe at Withers, and both of them seem to be having a go at each other. Obviously a bit of cheek out there. Anyway, the scrum will set. And another delay in play here. 50 minutes on the clock here, so just under half an hour to go here in this second half. It's about 4:15 local time here in Queanbeyan, and that light is starting to fade now. Most of the field covered in shadow. As we just wait for the adjudication of the referee. Players are antsy to get on with it. They've had an hour break following the injury there to the Gungahlin Bulls hooker Jake Skulls. Anyway, Terry Campese's been called over with Larson Nagata, and they're having a bit of a chat. There shouldn't be too much in this one, really. But he's been sent off. Fair dinkum. Adds to a bit more drama for the afternoon. So, the big man coming off the bench for the Gungahlin Blues side is off. And that's very disappointing. It's a disappointing end for him this afternoon and disappointing for the Blues side, which as a result will be under pressure for the rest of this second half. And Gungahlin, they're charging forward. They've got an enterprising attacking position. They're brought down about 20 metres out from the Blues line. They go to the left-hand side through Derek Hay. And he gets a runner on his outside. I think it's Sheen Lomax. Back across they go. And it's big Kai Williams saved the day there. He managed to catch a bit of a wayward pass there through from Luke Hall. And David Williams decides to take on the line, but he ran straight into Nasiri and Terry Campese. Oh, and they're straight into it again. Terry Campese pulled David Williams over the top of him by the looks of things. We might see if we can get a replay of that and see exactly what happened. But it's been a bit of a disjointed start to this second half. Time's getting away from us here on this Saturday afternoon, and the penalty will be blown anyway to Gungahlin, and they're going to go on with it. And it's Luke Skidmore taking the ball forward. All the way to the left-hand side. Luke Hall, he's in the half-back position, or 5/8 position, alongside Derek Hay. There's a bit of switching going on out there. And now a penalty's going to be blown in favour of the Queanbeyan Blues. And they get out of jail after facing a bit of an onslaught there from Gungahlin. And Terry Campese will look to put it upfield and out and look to make good metres to get the tap. They're back on the 40-metre line. Gungahlin and Queanbeyan, they decide to charge upfield, and they're brought down about 40 metres out from their own line. One out, stuff away. Looks like it's gone to Scott Rutland. Back infield again, they go to Nasiri, and he's up over the halfway line, brought down by a couple of Gungahlin defenders. He had a dummy half nickel, and the ball was dropped there by Scott Rutland. But they're going to be awarded the penalty, Queanbeyan, so that's lucky stuff. And now Gungahlin are going to be under the pump, forcing to defend their own line. You would think if Queanbeyan can get another one away here, then it'll make things very tough for Gungahlin to come back. Good work in attack there from Michael Cullen, taking the initial hit up. Then it's Nasiri, back to Campese, back to Cullen again on this left-hand side. And he's almost up at the line. He's brought out down a couple of metres out. Back to Campese, back across field to Nasiri. And brought down about 10 metres out right in front of the posts at the western end of Seaford Oval. And they give it to the big number 15, Scott Rutland for Queanbeyan. And he powers over the line. There's a bit of disjointed defence there. So it looked like the defence was led a little astray there, the Gungahlin defence. They did well, but he had plenty of momentum up, big Scott Rutland. And he gets over at the 53-minute mark of this match. So that'll take the score up to 26 points to 12. And you would think fast getting out of the reach of the Gungahlin side unless they can pull off a bit of an absolute miracle. So good work from Rutland. And Terry Campese lining up a relatively simple conversion attempt now up at the western end of Seaford Oval. And his first conversion attempt from that end of the field this afternoon, looking to make it 28 points to 12. And he does it with ease, does Terry Campese. Gee, things are starting to get a little dark here. Most of the sunlight has stretched its way right across the field, and most of the field is now left in shadow. So hopefully it's not too difficult to be able to watch this on the broadcast, on the telecast, but we'll bear with us and we'll try and keep things as accurate as possible for you. Gungahlin getting ready to get play back underway again. And comes down, looks to be taken by Riediger and handed away. And that's good defence from Gungahlin up in the Queanbeyan Blues' faces. They're brought down about 19 metres out from their own line. They go back midfield to the try scorer in Rutland. Gee, it was a pass away and it sort of popped off the shoulder of the fullback in Jake Wheeler, and he was forced to run back and get the ball, and the Gungahlin defence was up on him, so that was good work. Riediger again, and Campese gets it away. Up over the 30-metre line now, the Queanbeyan Blues, brought down by Williams and also Samuel Bramich. Kick away now, and Gungahlin will bring it back up to over their own 40. And Queanbeyan numbers in the tackle there. And, gee, they're looking for a penalty there. Drury Lowe, the fullback, but wasn't awarded it. It's gone to the winger now in Ross McGinn, who's darted his way across field to the left-hand side, seeing if he could find a little way through. And they'll keep play out that side of the field. Up over the halfway now, the Gungahlin side, and they send the ball back infield. Withers back on to Queanbeyan, brought down about 35 out from the Blues line. Williams, they're keeping play moving here. Hall, on he goes, but he was wrapped up in a beautiful tackle by Thomas Riediger rather, and was ruled high, and there'll be a penalty to the Gungahlin side, so they'll get another opportunity here. They'll tap the ball away, and it's gone to Jared Small, brought down about 11 metres out, right-hand side of the field. Withers goes back across. He gives the ball to Luke Skidmore, who's driven back by some sensational Queanbeyan defence. Fantastic stuff. Send it back to the right, Williams. Big cut-out ball to McGinn again, and he caught it a bit flat. If he was on the fly, he would have been over the line, but he decided to run back in field. They've got to watch themselves out there, those Queanbeyan Blues defenders on the wing. They'll get caught again by that Ross McGinn if they're not careful, and the crafty work of the 5'8" in Williams, who has the ball and plays it. Back in field they go to Withers. Withers, he sends it right across now to Hay. Hay back out to Drury Lowe. He gets the ball over to, I think it's the Samuel Bramich out there, and I think he's over the line. Is it Bramich? Bradley Sculls, rather. Bradley Sculls, the try scorer out there. That was good play there from Gungahlin to spread the ball from the right to the left. And they're over the line again, and they're not letting the Queanbeyan side off the hook, as we see Withers on the replay. Cross to the halfback, onto Lowe, and then to Bradley Sculls, who was just driving through, and it was always going to be tough for Queanbeyan to stop that phase of play. But that was enterprising stuff from Gungahlin. That was terrific. Fantastic. About 22 minutes left on the clock here now at Seaford Oval on this Saturday afternoon. And it'll be David Williams, I suspect. Yes, it is, to take the conversion attempt. And he'll be about 28 metres out from the goal line, just about on the touch line on that northern side of Seaford Oval. He'll want to kick this if Gungahlin are going to be in with a shot of producing a big upset here, but unfortunately the kick is well short. So 28-16 the score remains here at Seaford. But that was an excellent try there from the Gungahlin side. That should give them confidence going into the final 20 minutes of this game as Terry Campese brings the ball back and we'll get things back underway again very, very shortly. So Campese gets the play back underway here at Seaford. 20.5 minutes to go in this clash. Round 12, Queanbeyan Blues versus Gungahlin Bulls. They bring it out of their own red zone area now, the Gungahlin side, and I think that's through Luke Skidmore. Ball away, one out stuff here to, I think that's Kai Madden. I decide to go the blind side through Williams. Williams gets a quick ball away on his outside. Good pressure here from Gungahlin. Drury low at dummy half, back to Withers, who seems to be playing in more of that half-back position in this second half. And the ball goes away to Hay, who puts a high kick in, but it's taken well by Wheeler. And some pretty rabid defence down there from Gungahlin. Excellent stuff. But fair income. They're now all into it again. Down there. Hear the car horns going off. They're all over it. There's been plenty of feeling in this game this afternoon, but I think as a result here, we're going to have to see what the referee does, but we see that Jake Wheeler had an arm pulled around his head. It was like a headlock position. So there's an infringement here coming up on the part of one of the Gungahlin players. Well, the referee will rule as such, you would suspect. So referee's having a chat with his touch judge, Terry Campese, out there waiting, ready to get things going again. But Jake Wheeler, he certainly copped it there. Anyway, the referee's calling out Lincoln Withers, the captain, to have a chat with Bradley Scholes, the previous try scorer for Gungahlin, and he set him off for 10 in the bin. So a few players have felt the wrath of the referee this afternoon, but it's only bad behaviour that causes it, so they've only got themselves to blame. And hang on a minute, the referee's also saying that a Blues player's gone as well. And I think that's Jake Wheeler as well. So he'll be off as well. So players coming from the field rapidly this afternoon here. Big Nagata was sent off. So I think that would mean now that the Queanbeyan side are down to 11 men and Gungahlin are down to 12. If I just have a quick count on the field, I think there's 12 out there for Queanbeyan. There is 11. So a couple of players down as we get play back underway again with about 18 and a half to go. Gungahlin on the attack through Williams down the right-hand side, brought down by a couple of Queanbeyan Blues defenders, including Terry Campese. He's always heavily involved, isn't he? Ball back to Withers. He decides to send it left again through Lowe. Out they go again through the winger in O'Sullivan. And they get him over the line. They push him into touch, O'Sullivan, so that was excellent work by the Queanbeyan Blues defence to get him into touch. It was a similar phase of play to the last one where Skulls scored. And they get the ball out to Lowe, and he gets the ball to O'Sullivan, but they do an excellent job to get him into touch. I think that was Finefo out there, the Queanbeyan winger who pulled off that tackle, so that was excellent. And Queanbeyan will get the scrum feed, and they're off the hook for the time being. They've got a 12-point lead, 28 points to 16 here at Seaford Oval in this round 12 clash this afternoon. Temperature rapidly starting to drop now as the light begins to fade. Ball out now, and it's through the number 14 in Brendan Spears for Queanbeyan. He plays it. They're going to go back the short side through Finefo. And he's brought down about 22 metres out from his own line. They give the ball away, back on the inside. And it's Hall in the tackle there defending for Gungahlin. Some good work here now as Queanbeyan look to bring it up about 39 metres out from their own line. It goes back to Campese. And out it goes to the winger in Stevens, and he gets a quick one away to Tariki, and he goes back inside to Stevens, and he scores. Excellent phase of play there from Queanbeyan. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that would be Tyler Stevens' 10th try of the season. So that's an excellent phase of play as we have a look on the replay, and the winger starts charging upfield. Hale tries to get there, but the ball back inside to Stevens. Fantastic stuff, and he's over the line in the corner. Excellent work from Queanbeyan, and it just demonstrates why they are the form team of this competition. When they manage to pull off phases of play like that. So Campese will look to line up a long-range conversion attempt. 64 minutes gone here at Seaford Oval this afternoon. And Campese will line this one up from about 25 metres out, just about on that northern touch line. And we've got a Gungahlin player, I think it is Lincoln Withers, being worked on just down in front of us here. Campese comes in to make the attempt, and the touch judges say it's good. Both flags in the air, so that pushes them ahead by another 2. So it's 34 points to 16 at Seaford Oval, with 15 minutes to go in this second half of this round 12 clash between the Queanbeyan Blues and the Gungahlin Bulls. And Queanbeyan well in control of this game. So it was an excellent try to Tyler Stevens and a great pass by Tuiki back inside to him. Great teamwork. So Stevens. So they get things back underway here. Gungahlin and Queanbeyan bring it out with gusto. Out of their own half they're going here. And it was a ball, pretty quick one, popped out to Tuiki, and it popped out of his grasp, so they'll get the ball back here, Gungahlin. It was looking pretty quick and fast there for Queanbeyan in the meantime, but the error put a stop to that, and they'll set the scrum about 40 metres out from the Gungahlin, from the Queanbeyan line rather. Dave Williams will feed the scrum for Gungahlin. And we've got a Gungahlin player, I think it is Lincoln Withers, being worked on just down in front of us here. The error put a stop to that, and they'll set the scrum about 40 metres out from the Gungahlin, from the Queanbeyan line rather. Dave Williams will feed the scrum for on the right-hand side of the field, probably about 20 metres in from the southern touchline. Williams gets the ball out to Hay, who decides to go for a bit of a dart himself, and he was almost through the line. Decided to go the short side again. Hay across to big Queanbeyan, who's charging upfield. Good work, Queanbeyan. Brought down about 15 metres out from the line. Back to Hay. Back they go to, I think it is Lomax. And Williams, he's going to send it to his right again. And it's Jared Small brought down, about 10 metres out. They're going to go the short side. Williams again, back to the centre in Bramich, who tries to dart his way through, but no cigar. They go the short again. Williams, it's given to him again, but it pops off his chest. And there were a few Queanbeyan defenders there anyway, so even if it hadn't popped off his chest, I would suggest that he would have been brought down quite comfortably by that Queanbeyan Blues defence. So Queanbeyan will get the ball back and they'll play it about 10 metres out from their own line. Southern side of the stadium here, of Seaford Oval, and they need to work it back out here. 34 points to 16 the score as they come through. Jake Steen, rather, who's had a pretty good game this afternoon. But he's thrown this one up, lost the ball, and Gungahlin will get an opportunity to go on the attack about 25 metres out from their opposition's goal line. As we see the replay here, and it was pretty clear there that Steen lost the ball in that tackle, wasn't stripped, as Williams looks to feed the scrum. He gets it out the back. Away he goes to Hay. Hay on to Lowe. And Lowe pops up a bit of an odd pass, which was directed at O'Sullivan, but it had no hope of getting near him. And it was probably, I think, ruled forward there anyway. You can hear the car horns going off this afternoon. An easy way for those sitting in the driver's seat to make their feelings known. As we see the replay of that last phase there, and Lowe sort of popped the ball up, and it really just wasn't going to be going anywhere there. Anyway, they're back into it again, and they're on the attack. And it's through the big 16 in Luke Skidmore for Gungahlin. And it was a big long pass there, but it didn't come off, and it's come back into the grasp of the Queanbeyan Blues. So it's Riediger now with it. And away to Big McInnes, who drives his way up the middle of the park. Away they go now through the big number 13 in Jake Steen. He's had a pretty good game this afternoon, Jake. And they're looking to work it out of their own half here, now through Spears. And there's a bit of a break here. It's Nickel. He's making his way up the field here for the Blues side. And he gets the penalty as well. So they'll have the opportunity now to go deep inside the Gungahlin Blues half and deep into their territory and go on the attack. Under 10 minutes to go now at Seaford Oval. 34 points to 16 the score. The Queanbeyan Blues over the Gungahlin Bulls. And they'll look to go on the attack here, Queanbeyan. They go through the winger. He goes himself, Fainafo. And he's brought down about 10 metres out from the Bulls line. They go back in field here through Brendan Spears. Geez, a bit of an odd pass there from dummy half. I think it was intended there for McInnes, but it popped well short of him. But it took a lucky bounce backward and they retained possession. And Cullen He's done pretty well as well today. And the ball back inside to Steen, and I think he's over the line and he scored. And that should just about be good night for the Gungahlin side. Jake Stein has scored for the Queanbeyan Blues, and that'll take it to 38 points to 16. So it was a good pass back to his right-hand side by the dummy half in Nickel to Stein, who was coming through like a freight train and jumped over the line there. So, barring an absolute miracle now, you would think that this game is out of reach for Gungahlin as Terry Campese looks to put the extras and take it to 40. So, the light really fading now here at Seaford Oval as Terry Campese adds the extras, and that makes it 40 points to 16. So about 7.5 to go here as Gungahlin look to get on with it. This game's had quite a bit of drama this afternoon. There was about an hour break due to an injury to Jake Sculls, and an absolute shocker of a kickoff from Derek Hay. Fair dinkum, what happened there? Anyway, it's gone out, so they get the penalty here, the Queanbeyan Blues side, and he must be feeling like an absolute duffer. Hey? That was a shocking kick. One of the worst I've ever seen. Anyway, Terry Campese puts the ball out and they'll take the tap, the penalty tap about 30 metres out from the Gungahlin line, so they'll look to put some more points on here. And they go away through Tyler Stevens. Scored this afternoon. Back across to Nickel, to Nasiri. Why they go through Campese on to Cullen, who was almost away. Nickel goes left again, Campese on to Wheeler. And back to Campese in midfield. Goes across to Misios. And out to the winger in Finefo, who's charging his way forward, and he almost gets to the line. Back to Campese, who tries to put a bit of a kick up, and I think that should be 6 again there to the Queanbeyan side, and it's ruled as... No. And the ball goes into touch there, so things are starting to just degenerate a little bit in the latter stages of this game, but Queanbeyan remaining on the attack, 5 minutes to go, just under now, 40 points to 16, the Queanbeyan Blues over the Gungahlin Bulls. Light fading considerably here at Seaford Oval. We had that hour break, so we kicked off at 2 o'clock this afternoon. It's now 4:45. Because there was that hour break for that injury to be dealt with. But I'll get the ball back here, Gungahlin. And there's a bit of a chip and chase here from Williams. Try something a little bit different, but they regather it here, the Queanbeyan Blues, through, I think it's Tuiki. It is. Wheeler. Back to the lock forward in Stein. On the left-hand side. Nickel looking to send it back midfield to Nasiri. Cross they go to the right again. Cut out ball to Misios. This is enterprising stuff here from Queanbeyan. Campese back to the big number 10 in McInnes. Campese again, back to the left through Spears. He's brought down just about on the touchline, and he may have scored here. No, held up is the call from the referee, and penalty called as well. So they'll get another opportunity here, the Queanbeyan Blues, with 3 minutes to go. 3.5 minutes to go on the clock. And they give it to big Scott Rutland, who charges down towards that left corner. Campese back to McInnes. And Misios, ready and waiting, takes the ball. He sends it out to Tyler Stevens, who got the ball back on his inside to Wheeler, who has charged over the line. So it'll be a comprehensive victory this afternoon to the Queanbeyan Blues. And we have a look at this replay. It's a great ball. And it was a great ball back on the inside from Stevens back to Wheeler. Excellent awareness from the centre. He's done a pretty good job, Jake Wheeler, to pass a few Gungahlin defenders and get the ball down there for another try with 2 minutes to go. And no, it hasn't been called, in fact. And Gungahlin have the ball back. My apologies for that. Got a little carried away with it there. And Gungahlin take the ball forward, and they're about 28 metres out from their own line. They go forward again on the northern side. Left-hand attack for them, left edge attack. And they're fighting strong in the later stages of this game. They're keeping on, which is good to see. They haven't thrown the towel in as they go through Smith Shields. And Williams now running down the right-hand side, brought down by, looks to be Campese as well as Spears. Back across they go, Low. And I think it may have been a forward ball from Low, but it's been picked up anyway by the Queanbeyan side and regathered. So it'll be taken there by Tyler Stevens, and he'll play it about 15 metres out from his own line. And less than a minute to go now, so we'll probably see this set played, and that'll probably be about it. 40 points to 16 is the score. Comprehensive victory this afternoon to the Queanbeyan Blues over the Gungahlin side. Their undefeated record remains intact. Campese, Spears, makes a bit of a break, does Spears. Off he goes, and he's got the centre on his outside in Riediger, who runs over and scores the try. And that is some nice icing on the cake for the Queanbeyan Blues this afternoon. And the referee says that's fantastic, we can award that. 44 points to 16. As we look on the replay, he made a good break, Spears. He came onto a ball from Campese. He saw Riediger on his outside, and he got the ball away to him. And he said, thank you very much, I'll go through and plant that ball down. So Terry Campese will have another opportunity this afternoon to kick a conversion and take it up to 46 points to 16, which is a big, big win. And it's been a tough day out for Gungahlin this afternoon, with their hooker in Jake Skulls, we believe, taken to hospital with a 1 hour break due to that injury concern. And Campese gets it. That's full time. 46 points to 16 is the score. And we'll look to find a man of the match for you now, and we'll come back with him very, very shortly. And we're here with Jake Steen post-match. Jake, it was a pretty tough match out there today, with a couple of dramas up in the air. Big break in play for about an hour as well, but pretty comprehensive victory for you guys.
Yeah, mate, yeah, like the boys dug in, played heaps well. Like, heart goes out to the bloke that got injured. Hopefully he's all right. But yeah, it was a hard-fought game, but all credit to the Bulls. They played well, and we dug in as well, and we all did well.
Seemed to be plenty of feeling in that. You had a couple of teammates have to have a couple of spells over there, and likewise for the other team. Did that add to the spice of the match?
Yeah, mate, yeah, definitely. It gave you a bit more energy, but it also gave the Bulls energy as well. So it was a hard game, but it was fun, eh? They're the games you love to play.
And how do you judge your own performance today? We thought you did pretty well out there. You were running pretty well off the ruck there and going well in defence as well.
Mate, a few stuff-ups, but as you say, I'm happy with how I went. Just keep those mistakes to a minimum and go from there.
Well, good on you, Jake. Thanks for speaking with us and congratulations.
Cheers, appreciate it.
Thank you. Cheers. Thanks, mate. Good on you.
Cheers, boys.